The quiz for this week is about, it's titled The Lord's Passover. So, and there will be a lot of reading. So please, let's all cooperate. Let's all participate. Let's all so everyone is encouraged to participate. We are not yet, the service has not started, so both men, women, children, young, old may participate in this quiz. But we will request the men to read. So, question 1. The Lord's Passover began in the Garden of Eden. True or false? All right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. Josiah, please read.
The Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
Just 1 and 2. Yes. All right. So this is a false line, and we know that it began in Egypt, so not the Garden of Eden. All right. Question 2. Passover started in the first month of January for the Israelites. True or false? Passover began or started in the first month of January for the Israelites. All right, so let's go to Deuteronomy 16:1. Deuteronomy 16, verse 1. Brother Tunde, please read.
Keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee out of Egypt by night.
All right, so we see that it began again in Egypt, and in this case, the Passover didn't start the first month of January. As we are told, it started in the month of Abib, A-B-I-B. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, so that's a false lie. Deuteronomy 16:1. We've read that. All right. The next one, question 3. God had appointed the first day of Abib as Passover. True or false? Let's go to Exodus 12 and 3. Brother Charles, please read. Exodus 12:3.
Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, On the 10th of this month, every man shall take for himself a lamb, according to the house of his father, a lamb for the household.
So that's a false lie. It began on the 10th of the month. And so this, well, I think I will not say much because to avoid giving more answers than I need to give. So yes, it is not the first day of Abib. It is rather Passover began. What day again? Did we say the 10th? Okay. And we said it's true or false. What did we say? Was it false? Okay. So, all right. We just read Exodus 3. Again, I'm trying to avoid, to not say much because some of the answers are very, very, they are not hidden. So I want to make sure that we don't say much. Please read that verse again because I want to be sure. Exodus 12:3.
Speak to all the congregation of Israel, saying, on the 10th of this month, every man shall take for himself a lamb, according to the house of his father, a lamb for the household.
All right. So, is that correct? It is actually false. It's false. But the verse is rather, I'm trying to hide the verse so that I don't expose the other. It's rather, okay, let's read more. Please add verse 4 to it. Hold on, let's see. That's actually not, I want, okay, there's so many passages that I want to avoid saying in advance. All right, let us read Numbers. Numbers 23. I was trying not to read that now, but so Numbers, 1 second. Leviticus, rather. What am I? Leviticus 23. Leviticus 23 is where we have it. And all right, please read. Well, we have to do it all the same. Brother Charles, read it again. But this time, read. Okay, Leviticus 23, 2, 3, and yeah, that's. Sorry, I'm mixing this up. Anyway, it's not. Let me just not spend more time. It's actually. It began on the 14th day, so I've mixed it. We shall come to it eventually. It's actually. I will come back to it and give it to you, but it's. It doesn't begin. God appointed the first day of Abib as Passover. It is false, but the verse is not, as we read. It is actually the 14th, which we will come to it so that we will see. The first day is, well, let's just take it. I will come back to it. It is here. I know it, but I want to avoid because some of the verses are part of, they are all mixed up. So, let's put false as the answer. I will provide the next, So let's go to question 4. Our Lord Jesus Christ commanded his followers to remember to observe Easter. True or false? Is it false? Then why is everybody wishing me happy Easter? Let's go to Luke 22, 19 and 20. Let's see. Brother Tunde, if you read out, if you haven't. Luke 22, 19 and 20.
19 and 20 said, and he took bread and gave thanks and broke it and gave unto them, saying, this is my body, which was given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. Likewise, also the cup after supper, saying, this is the cup of the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you.
All right, so we see here that the Lord Jesus Christ commanded his followers to observe Passover. So again, Easter is a corruption. It's a pagan that we are not supposed to even consider or wish anyone. So the Lord Jesus Christ and his apostles gather them and then observe the Holy Communion, or we call it, but it's actually Passover. So we'll come to that. So not to put you in too much suspense, I think we should just go to it and do it. All right. Back to Exodus 12. Where we are? Okay. Let's read Exodus 12. All right. I will just give an answer. Let's continue. I'll come back to read again. Number 6 questions. So the first number 5 is false. Again, number 6, Easter is an acceptable replacement for Passover. True or false? All right, let's go to Exodus 12, 14, and then we jump to 24. Exodus 12, and Bertrand. Exodus 12, 14, and then 24.
Exodus 12, 14, 24. And this day shall be unto you for the memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 24. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to be and to thy son forever.
All right, so we see what God is saying here. Passover, the Israelites were supposed to observe it forever. There is no replacement for it, when we consider Easter. So again, no one should be saying Easter, which if you are saying Easter, then you are talking about Baal, which is the idol worship, or Nimrod, who was worshipped as a god. And we all know Nimrod in his exploit. He was a mighty hunter, as it said, before the Lord, but he was actually a very rebellious person. He organized the government system in the world at that time. He organized everybody, and he was hunting. When they use the word hunting, he was actually hunting for everything. He was, should I say, gathering people, and so he organized them to create a rebellious environment. And if we want to know more, we can only read Exodus 10 and Exodus 11, and maybe you will get to it, but he was rebellious. And his name actually means, let us revolt. And you can search it out, and you find that he was not what we think he was. So, we go to, we've just learned that there was no replacement, and there's no replacement for Passover, and it cannot be used as an acceptable time to observe, to to worship God. God didn't send His Son to be involved with that. All right, so let's see if I have it. All right, we shall come to it. Eventually, I'll probably provide a summary at the end. Easter is false. Number 6 is false. Number 7, a 1-year-old lamb or goat without blemish was to be sacrificed for Passover or at Passover. Anyhow, we say it. True or false? Exodus 12:5 and Brother Jonathan, can you read for us, please? Exodus 12:5.
Exodus chapter 12, verse 5. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats.
All right, so that is correct, and that is true truth. And there was not supposed to be any blemish. It was supposed to be perfect. You're supposed to bring an offering to God without any blemish.